This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my review of the new Jedi Order novel, Rebel Dream. And honestly, this is probably the weakest of the new Jedi Order novels I've read so far. And that's mainly because this is just setting up the next one, which is Rebel Stand. And yeah, honestly, I feel like that's really all this does. The story on its own definitely does feel incomplete, and like there's a lot more. This is very clearly a two-part novel. And if you just look at this one on its own, I think it's a really, really weak novel. But from what I've been reading in the next one so far, stuff is being paid off. And yeah, there's only a few things that do get resolved in here, like Jaina Solo wanting to just sacrifice herself because she's too afraid to make connections with others, and her finally realizing that she does need to make connections with others, and realizing what life was like for her mother and why she was sent away so often as a kid to be protected. And honestly, it was a really nice moment between Leia and Jaina. This also helps set up how Jaina takes on an identity of a trickster goddess just to go with psychological warfare against the Vong. It was developed a little bit in the novel before, but this is now going into full-on psychological warfare, which is pretty interesting. They also bring in the Wraith Squadron as a very major component of the story, which is clear since it's the author who created them. And it's interesting to see them there. They are also something of a small story where it's just Luke, Mara, and Tahiri alongside some of the Wraiths going to Coruscant. That is really not much that happens in this one, and it's all setting up for the next novel. And as I was saying, this one just feels very incomplete. The other ones that are specifically called parts 1 and 2, and there's one that's a part 1, 2, and 3, but I have not got to that one yet. Those ones don't really feel like, true parts 1 and 2. They feel like two, really closely connected stories, but they at least feel complete. But this one, it just feels incomplete. I think that would be really frustrating when this came out, since you'd have to wait at least a few months until the next one came out, and that would be a pretty significant wait for this story, because as I said, this one is completely incomplete. But looking at some other stuff is interesting. I think that the stuff with orbital bombardment was really interesting, and the quote was really well described for people who really have never seen it. And Jaina had a pretty interesting reaction. It was also cool to see how the New Republic falls apart and how they actually create a secret rebel alliance to take on the Vong. They really make the Vong a really great threat in this. And yeah, honestly, that's really all I have to say. As I said, it's an interesting book, but it's very clearly a part 1 of 2, and the story on its own suffers, but it does help enhance the next book. But I want to know what you think. Please leave me in the comments, and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.